So one of the things I always like to ask is that it's how we can kind of share lessons and stories, because you'll interact with a lot of people, as I kind of do. What do you think are the top kind of 3 problems that businesses face?
3 things. So one is overthinking.
Okay.
And that it doesn't matter what stage you're at, overthinking things. Number 2, underestimating how long it's going to take to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, overestimating how hard it's going to be.
Yeah, or how much money they're going to make.
Yeah, but definitely, I think people, it's usually all in your head. Yeah, you think it's going to be, you procrastinate too much when you could just. Seth Godin actually writes a lot about this. He talks about done is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And time again, there's people who really inspire me and motivate me who've had big success, and they say the same sort of thing, that like you can plan until the cows come home, but
Mm-hmm.
like until you hit real life, a real audience, your business plan is moot. It doesn't really. You can have you can assume that certain things are going to go as planned, but you have to be able to adapt on the fly. You've got to give enough flex with what you're doing.
Almost, because based on that, almost what you said at the start is that as you kind of go through your career, there's things that you will pick up over time that actually is when you then learn to be able to deploy them. Does that make sense? So although technically I started my first business in 2010-11, it's only really now, because I've had a lot more different experience in different areas, a lot more senior level, the stock market, different things, that I actually feel 100% confident on deploying to what to do and when, and I know it's the right thing. Like I should do, because I teach people how to do it. But my point is, it's even if I'm still the same person I was in terms of, say, horsepower 10 years ago. And I would have had the same ambition, but I just didn't have the reference points. So I think some people often, they try and start a business too soon, or again, they don't. It's almost, the more you can learn from different people and different sources over time, what works, what doesn't work, what bosses were good, what were terrible. It's when you actually build up enough that you're ready to burst and just like deploy it and then just run with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it is. It comes. Age shouldn't matter, but I think generally speaking, if you're a little bit older, you're going to have a bit more experience. I mean, there are exceptions, but if you have a very young entrepreneur who's got lots of success, they tend to be surrounded by older, wiser people who've been there and done that. And I think regularly I read about the ideal is like a young person and someone with no hair or grey hair. Kind of that's the perfect balance for highly scalable businesses. But that's why I think I'm always surprised when people don't go to events, or they don't listen to podcasts, or they don't read books, because all that knowledge and information and the network is there if you want it. But yeah, so I don't know why people don't make more use of.
But I had this exact same conversation with a managing director on Monday, and she runs a very successful business that's been around for a long time, and we were talking about this same kind of thing. And I think actually innate in certain people and certain character types, I'm guessing you, me, and Hare, you want to learn and develop because that's just the gig, and you'll constantly want to, do something. And I don't think that's the case with everyone else. And it's not that we're right and they're wrong, or vice versa. But I think sometimes it's just either it's in the animal or it's not. And that's almost, I guess, comes down to the whole entrepreneurship. Can it be taught, or is it just inherent? And I think almost it's that burning fire that kind of drives you. And I don't know, like, do you have that? Do you feel that there's something that makes you want to just, kill people every day in a business sense?
I know what you mean. I think it is curiosity. It's like there's that inherent curiosity, wanting to know why things are the way they are, how things could be better. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite mottos, I suppose, to live by is stay curious. I've even got it written on the side of my trainers, because that's just me. Like I'm always wanting to learn. Never stop learning. But not, like you say, not everyone thinks that way. And I think the whole nurture of entrepreneurship, I've definitely become more entrepreneurial. I think I've always been creative, and I've always been curious. But entrepreneurialism or entrepreneurship wasn't really a thing when I was growing up. Like most people, you just went to
But for
university, got
instance,
involved.
but when you were running the club nights and doing that and putting yourself out there, those are the same traits, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
always
Well,
had it.
yeah, and I think that again, that's probably why that appealed to me. That kind of slightly counterculture, looking outside, like outside the box. You know, like looking at things from a different perspective. I've always been
I'm with you.
good at doing that. Um, yeah.